The Gopher Coaches Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union. Now, it's the Gopher Coaches Show with Dawn Plitzuweit and Ben Johnson.
Yeah, we're rising up. Welcome into the Gopher Coaches Show. I'm Ahmad Hicks alongside K-Fans Justin Gaard and head women's basketball coach Dawn Plitzuweit. So, Coach, I feel like it's been forever since we talked, but you guys did just have a game recently taking on Oregon the other day, a tough loss at Williams Arena. What's your recap of that game and your assessment?
Well, I thought we did a good job of playing with great intensity. I thought we rebounded, offensive and defensive rebounded pretty well. We didn't take care of the ball well enough, and then that got them going. But to score 70 against a team that doesn't give up many points shows that we're doing some things really well. The hard part was they also scored more than they normally do because we gave them some opportunities. So we go back and we look at that and we make adjustments and we get better in some of those situations.
Part of the offense was Grace Krolski getting back into double figures. She had 3 games outside of double figures, which was surprising. Teams are certainly noticing her now. So I'm curious how you've seen teams change how maybe they've defended her when she went on a run where she was in double figures for like 2 months.
Well, it makes a big difference when you're the key shooter potentially on someone's scouting report, and she is that for good reason. And so, but we also need her to handle the ball for us and do a lot of other things for us. And so I think it's something that, you know, even late in the game against Ohio State, we saw the 6'6" kid fly at her. We're down 3 with about 18 seconds, I think it was, to play. And, you know, she shot fake, put it on the floor, and hit one at that point in time. So learning how to get shots off quickly, learning how to get shots off when people are flying at you, and she sure is receiving a lot of attention at this point in time.
Coach, when you talk about a player like Grace Krolski, who's known for her shooting, how much time does it normally take for an athlete to change their style of play, to put that ball on the court like you talk about and get to the basket?
Well, and that's an area that she's really improved on this year is posting up more and doing things around the rim for us, offensive rebounding at a high level, and then also putting it on the floor and getting by people and making things happen. And that's an area that she continues to grow in.
You know, it's always fun when you see players like that, but for the game that you had versus Oregon yesterday, what's your message to the team immediately following the game? Because Sophie Hart had a great comment after the game talking about when we get punched in the mouth, we have to learn to throw those punches back.
Well, it's our message to the team afterwards is stay together. You know, we have some important games coming up, and we don't have much time at this point in time because they're kind of, the next one is here after a quick 2-day prep, but really 1 day because you just got done playing in a game, and the last game you didn't have a lot of prep time. So it's not like your bodies can do a lot. So what we have to do is really remain connected, stay together, continue to battle together, and then get ready to go on the road and take on a Purdue team that is fighting and clawing and playing really hard and making a lot of things happen.
You talked with us on the radio after the game, kind of along those lines about we're fighting for opportunities here, for postseason opportunities. So how much big picture thinking can you do with the team? They're obviously aware of what's at stake here the last 3 games. So how do you kind of manage those emotions?
Well, I think ultimately from the beginning we talk about the 3 expectations. Be your best, be thankful, and enjoy the precious present. We can't worry about those things. We have to focus on what that process looks like for us. And we understand that there are ramifications with each one of these games and each one of these opportunities to learn and grow and get better. Now we need to take it. We need to learn and grow and get better real fast because we only have, I think we only have 3 regular season games left. So there's not a lot of sands in the hourglass at this point in time. It's time to go. All
right, now, Coach, I'm going to challenge your memory here. We're going to go back to that Iowa game. It was the National Girl and Women's in Sports Day game for you guys. So close versus the Hawkeyes. I felt like that game was there for the taking. What did you take away about your guys' inability to just close out that game at home?
Well, I thought we didn't do a great job defending them from the arc early on in that game, and they got a couple arc shots early against us. I thought we made great adjustments. Our young ladies really defended at a very, very high level. You know, I thought what hurt us is that in that game we didn't get enough second chance opportunities the way that we have in other games, and a lot of that goes to Iowa, and the credit them for the way that they were physical with us and boxed us out. And then ultimately down the stretch, we weren't able to keep the ball away from Hannah Stuelke often enough, or Lucy Olsen often enough, and they got going and created some really good opportunities for them. And so what we're seeing in some of those situations is that, you know, when a player asserts their will against you, you've got to have a way to counter that, whatever that way is. And again, I thought we had you can do that in a lot of different ways. whether that's keep them off the glass, whether that's limit touches, whether that's score on the other end, in a lot of different ways. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do enough of those things to counteract that.
Well, we've seen a couple of highlights with everything that you just said. The Grace Skorhalski basket ties it at 51, right? Coming down the stretch. Tori McKinney with the scoop and score. She's someone who I think has had a say in reacting and responding when someone's got it going, specifically with what she can do defensively.
Oh yeah, Tori doesn't back down from anybody, in case you haven't noticed that. And that's pretty special for a freshman, to one, have that mentality, and then two, have the ability to back that up. So she makes an awful lot of things happen for us, and is someone we put the ball in her hands in some late game situations, depending on matchups and how that all works. And a lot of times you have to read what the defense is giving you, and you saw that there, kind of making a read and moving the ball and getting one more pass and hitting a shot off a flare screen. Those type of things are really big, and Tori's able to do all of them.
Coach, I feel like when we talk about Tori McKinney every week, it seems like she's just growing. She's expanding her game. What's been the biggest growth from week 1 to now in the season for Tori McKinney from your point of view?
Well, I think from week 1 to now, she has given us a presence in every single facet of the game. And that's something that is really hard for anybody to do at any point in time. It doesn't matter what year you're in, and who knows how long the NCAA is going to let you play at this point in time.
Yeah.
But so that's hard to do, to make an impact or have the ability to make an impact in every single possession. And that's something that Tori is learning and continuing to learn how to do that, what that looks like. And sometimes, honestly, for her, that we need the next step for her to be like, you kind of got to let that one go a little bit.
Right.
She plays so hard,
right,
and she gets in foul trouble because she plays really hard, and sometimes you got to let a few of those go to stay on the court a little bit longer.
Well, go ahead. No. Well, I wanted to ask you about the fouls because, obviously she didn't play the second quarter against Oregon, got a foul with 3.5 seconds left. Obviously that's a tough time to get one, but I feel like a lot of her fouls are sometimes wrong place, wrong time, just like 90 feet away, maybe trying to get a steal. I know there was one at the end of the Indiana game where you said, we don't need that foul right there. Like, that's all part of the growing and learning how to play, right?
Well, absolutely it is. And I think but because she has the gift and the curse at the same time. The gift is she has that competitive edge. Like, she is going to go make a play every single play. But that's also a little bit of a curse, because sometimes that puts you in harm's way of getting a foul. And so balancing that out is going to be the next step for her.
Well, that's good for her. I'm sure she'll balance that out in the near future. Now, speaking of, you guys balanced it out, got to win that very next game, taking on Indiana. How impressed were you with your group and their resilience and able to bounce back? Well,
it was really important for us. I thought Indiana's a team that really shoots the ball. At that point in time, I think they were leading the Big Ten Conference in three-point field goal percentage, around 39.9% approximately. And so we knew after the Iowa game that we had to do a better job right at the beginning of the game establishing ourselves defensively. And I thought our young ladies did a great job of understanding what that looked like and did a really good job with that. And then also I thought did a really good job of adjusting and getting second chance opportunities. I thought we did a much better job of rebounding in that game.
When you watch Indiana play, I think the game before they had something like 15 three-pointers. Is that a good way to get people's attention, to say, if we don't do X, Y, and Z, this is what could happen because their shooters are this good? Well,
and that's been an area that we haven't been as good as we need to be, very honestly, in defending the three-point arc. And so it was something that, we at that point in time had, maybe a day, maybe 2 days to prep and have some special attention on how to get through some of their screen action and what they were looking for. And I thought our young ladies really responded at a high level.
What about a Maya battle in that game? It seems like every week that we sit down and have a conversation, it's a Maya battle, leading you guys in some different way, whether that's defensive effort, getting to the bucket, or pulling up and hitting that mid-range jump shot. How proud are you of her?
Yeah, incredibly proud. I think she's, again, we've talked about when she was a guest on the show, how much her game is continuing to grow and to evolve. And, even today we're going to go back and watch some film of some really good things that we've done in our last 2 games. We really didn't have a chance to do a self-scout after Ohio State because also, boom, you're playing in the game right away again.
Right.
And so that makes it really hard. And so today we have a little bit of time, not that we have more time to prep, but we're going to focus that time on us today and show her some ways that she's really growing her game, and also ways that, we can look at other players and how they play and maybe see how another way for us to continue to attack and develop and grow.
Going back to Ohio State, it was obviously an epic comeback that you've come just a little bit short. I think it was an 18-5 run, 17-4 run, whatever it is. It was a three.
Crazy.
I can't do the math, as all of you know, but to get it into overtime, top 10 team in the country. They're a top 16 team in the first NCAA tournament projections here. So take us through what you liked about just the fight there to really manage that thing and get it into overtime.
Well, again, I thought our young ladies we're competing at such a high level, and I thought we did not do a good job taking care of the ball early in the game against their press. We got a lot better at it as the game wore on, and took advantage of it a little bit later. But I thought we really attacked at a high level. I think we were down 8 with 1:03 to play, and then forced 3 turnovers. One of them after we gave up an offensive rebound on a free throw.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, you're down 8. You give up an offensive rebound on a free throw. A lot of teams would give in at that point in time because, man, it seems like it's over. But we didn't give in. Our young ladies battled and fought, and my battle got a steal. We went down the other end. We went to score, and then had 3 timeouts left, which is really important in the women's game because we were allowed to use those timeouts to advance the basketball. We scored in all 3 of those possessions, the last one being a contested 3 side dribble, and then got into overtime, and felt like in overtime, even with 5 seconds to go, we were able to get where we wanted to get the ball because we were down 3 to get a shot. Unfortunately, it got tipped at that point in time. But I thought the battle, the competitiveness, the resiliency of our young ladies was something that was on display, and I was really proud that we were able to continue to fight and continue to battle.
For people that didn't see it, what was fun about it for me, from my perspective, is you had everybody kind of knew their job. You had the defensive line come out, then the timeout. So Nehemiah Holloway's coming, Kennedy Click's coming, who doesn't get to play very much. It's like, we need you right now for these 8 seconds. Get the stop, get the foul. Here comes Grace, here comes Mallory, here comes Annika. Like, everybody was completely locked in.
Yeah, for a little while we looked like a football team, when you do that kind of. But we don't have that opportunity in basketball very often. But with the women's game, allowing you to call timeouts and advance the basketball in the last minute of the game, and we had it again in the Oregon game, and I was kind of trusting myself, but I looked at Jason when they shot a free throw, and it stopped right at 1 minute, directly at 1 minute. At 1 minute, you can't call a timeout and advance the basketball. It's 59.9.
Right.
And so I looked at him and I thought, and I asked him that question. He said, "No, we can't." I go, "Good," because that's what I thought too. But man, that'd be tough if we did that. And it happened in another game that we just watched where the ball went through the net, and had the ball actually bounced in the clock, because the clock doesn't start or stop right away.
Right.
Yeah.
But the team called timeout, but then couldn't advance the ball. But that was tough. That was just a tough break. So understanding late game situations, and I think we're getting better in those because we've been in more of them recently.
Seems like your girls are just growing with every game and every opportunity. Now, one player that's growing in a different way this season happens to be Mara Braun. She's not on the court due to an injury, but Coach Plitzuweit is challenging her mentally, and we're going to talk to Mara Braun on the other side of the break.
You're watching the Gopher Coaches Show.
Yeah, we're rising up.
Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show. Ahmad Hicks, Justin Gaard, Don Plitzuweit, and the Mara Braun joining the set. Mara, first things first, it's been a while since we've seen you and heard from you. What's the latest? How have you been this season?
Good. Just hanging in there, plugging along, supporting the team, just doing whatever I can do.
All right, so we have to bring up the injury. Second season in a row that your season has kind of been cut short due to a foot injury. What's it been like mentally for you? Like, how are you getting over the hump with that?
I mean, at first there was just a lot of anger. I mean, obviously doing it a second time, back-to-back seasons wasn't ideal. Just kind of frustrated because of, I thought I had done everything I could, but I mean, ultimately, I have a strong faith, so just knowing that, there's a plan regardless of all this that's going on. So just honestly, after I had dealt with my emotions a little bit, just going and attacking it like I had the first time. And it's been a battle and a roller coaster, as is any injury, but doing all right, getting there.
Last season, it felt like from the outside, we're going to try to get this thing healed up as quickly as possible. We want to get back on the court. Felt like from the outside a little bit different this year. Obviously, same injury, essentially, pretty close to the same spot. So how different was the mindset this time of, we're just going to make sure this thing heals, and I'll play whenever I play?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had to think about long-term too. Obviously, I want to play pro and just keep my basketball career going after this. So just making sure once and for all we get this healed up, and so I can just go out and have the success that I wanted to, and I just want to play here so badly, and I want to play with my teammates, so just doing everything I can on my own to be able to be back and be stronger.
Coach, what's it like when you lose a player like Mara Braun so early in the season, when kind of you had everything built around her and geared up towards, having her being successful on this team?
Is it wrong to say depressing? It's hard. I think it's really hard, and it's especially challenging for Mara because this is 2 years in a row. That's really hard. And so you can look at it from our team standpoint, but we have to look at it from Mara's standpoint as well. And I would say, when you talked about her mental toughness. When you talk about mental toughness, I think there are 2 words that kind of come up, and one is can you be really positive during this? And can you be really proactive during it? And I think Mara has done that at such a high level and in the most adverse of conditions. This is not easy. And so the day in the shoot around that she re-injured her foot, she came out on the bench that night and was at the game and was smiling and cheering. As a matter of fact, I'm getting a little bit nervous that at timeouts I may not even have a seat to talk to the team anymore because usually Mara takes it. So, and she knows what she's doing. But I think to the part about the mental toughness, it's really, really special what Mara's able to do from a positivity standpoint, being proactive and helping her teammates standpoint. And you know what? I do have a strong faith too, and I believe that this is going to help her continue to grow.
Mara, what have you seen from your teammates from either last year, obviously, we talked about it at the time, but certainly this year they've weathered the storm of not having you to win as many games as they had. I was looking at a Kentucky box score because Asia Petty played for Ohio State, obviously. I wonder how Asia Petty did. Well, by the way, in Lexington, Mara scored 25. No big deal. But you're just not there, right? So your team has obviously weathered it so much better this year than last year. What have you seen from your perspective?
I mean, first of all, our depth is just a lot different. You know, people are just in the gym. They want to get better. Amaya, Malji, Soph just showing up. Obviously, it was tough after last season, what we had gone through, but I think knowing that, okay, we've done this before, like we know how to handle this, and then knowing that, I mean, I'm still going to be there on the sideline, whether or not they want to hear my voice or not, they're going to. So just, them knowing, them trusting in themselves too, and that confidence that, they were able to go out last year, and, we ended the season really well.
Right.
So last year, your partner in crime when you were rehabbing with Sophie Hart. This season, a new member, Taylor Woodson, to the team. What's it been like just gelling her with the rest of the Gopher atmosphere? And I guess you guys both sitting there and doing something that you're not accustomed to and having to learn in new ways from the bench.
Well, luckily, I'd already gone through it once, so I've been able to kind of tell her, there is another side of this. Like, you will get through it. I mean, she's able to see Kennedy and Nia back on the floor, which I think can be really helpful for her. But I mean, selfishly, I was just happy to have someone to lift with and to spend time with, because it does get lonely. I mean, you're going in and doing rehab, lifting every day. So just having her to fall back on has been really helpful, and she's right there next to me too. So we're getting through it together.
How are you learning this season from the bench? What is Coach Plitzuweit able to do for you to help kind of slow the game down and say, hey, Mara, this is what you need to be doing in these situations compared to when you're playing and just have to watch it on film?
I mean, I catch myself saying the same exact things at the same time, same as Ariel on the bench. I mean, I'm next to them, hearing everything they have to say. So just knowing that and then being able to help my teammates, I think also, me knowing the scout from front to back to make sure that I'm saying the right things also and make sure I'm on the same page. So I'm able to give that information to my teammates as well, so that they know that I'm prepared also, so they can come to me and not just, the coaches.
So where are you right now, kind of in the recovery or the timeline? What have you been doing? You joked in California you were going to set a record for like set shots. You were never going to jump again. Take us through kind of where you are and when you do hope to be back out on the court.
Honestly, it might not be the answer you want, but day by day, it's really what it is, and just showing up, attacking my rehab, whatever it is. I trust our trainers and strength coaches that they're going to get me back on the court, whenever that is. So I'll be looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting better each day. I'm feeling good, and whatever it is that I have for that day, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to attack it.
Mara, if you can't get back on the court this season, and next season is where you finally get your opportunity, how excited are you for the future of Gopher women's basketball?
Very. I just want to play. I just want to be healthy. That's really all there is to it. Just want to play with, these girls that I've come in with, and we've all stayed loyal to the program. So I just want to play. I just want to play a basketball game, honestly.
Got it. All right. Well, star-studded conference now in the Big Ten, and the Gophers would love to have Mara Braun back. So whether that's this season or next season, the Gophers will be in good hands. So, Mara, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. Keep attacking the rehab, and we'll see you on the court soon. That's Mara Braun, and we'll be right back with more Gopher Coaches Show on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show.
All right, so we're back with more Gopher Coaches Show. Unfortunately, some bittersweet news. Coach, this is our final Gopher Coaches Show of the year with you.
That's
so
sad,
no
too.
more time to, to sit down and chat and talk about basketball. So for you,
So the last 2 minutes better be good.
This is going to be really good. Full court press
Yes,
right now.
let's go.
3 games remain. Big Ten women's tournament coming up. What are you telling your team about these final 3 regular season games?
Well, it's time to go.
Right.
It really is. It's time to apply all the lessons that we've learned. And I think this group of young ladies has really competed. We've talked about that, competed at a high level. But then this game, this one thing got us. And this game, this one thing got us. And then we fixed those 2 things. And then the next one, this one got us. Now it's time to put it all together. And that'll be a lot of fun. And our young ladies are competing. And now it's time to figure out how to put that together and kind of get some energy and get going with it.
Well, first of all, I'm not predicting the demise of the show. I'm predicting a special March Madness edition of Gopher Basketball Weekly, the Gopher Coaches Show.
JG.
Well, that's what I'm predicting.
Putting me down.
But obviously, it starts with Wednesday night against Purdue. You hit the road now, as you mentioned. Tomorrow we'll be on a plane. We'll be going to West Lafayette. Boilermakers probably not having the season that they want to have. So take a look. They're looking for probably a signature victory to wrap this thing up on the right way. How do the Boilermakers look? What's important on Wednesday?
Well, what's important for us is that we have to, again, carry over lessons because they can do a lot of different things. They can guard you in a lot of different ways. They can attack you in a lot of different ways. And each one of those players that we look at, okay, this kid is really good at posting up and scoring. This one's really, these 4 kids are their knockdown shooters. And so now we've got to take the lessons that we've learned along the way and carry them into this. Because again, now we're a little bit more veteran. Now we understand a little bit more. But now that you just understand isn't quite enough. Now you got to go out and you got to carry it out. So they're a team, I think, that is really getting after it, really competing, really well coached group. So we're going to have to go there, and we're going to have to play to the best of our ability.
Coach, 30 seconds left. Final question that we have for you. What's your message to your team, like about not looking too far ahead to the NCAA tournament, the Big Ten women's tournament, and just focusing on the now and the day-to-day, like we talked about?
Well, I think it's interesting because there's the message when you don't make something happen in that play, you've got to go for the next play. At the same time, we're at the point where we've got to focus on, there's not a next time and next media time. This is the time right now.
Right.
So the urgency of the playing in the precious present is really important to us.
Well, we appreciate your time all season long. Like JG said, hopefully you guys keep winning, and then we'll have a Gophers postseason show to talk about. So, Coach Plitzuweit, thank you for your time. That's Justin Gaard. I'm Ahmad Hicks. We'll see you all next week.